We all know we should be reading more. At least I do. Until the mid 2000s, I used to read and enjoy a good number of books. Since then, the proliferation of smart devices and video taking over most people's time, reading and books have taken a back seat. My name is Ashish, and whilst I still have the original Kindle from 2011, I was seldom reading books on it, or at least if starting them, I wasn't getting around to finishing them. I decided that I needed a new device to read on, one that would make me want to pick it up instead of the iPhone, iPad, MacBook, etc. So, in the latest Amazon sale, I decided to pick up this. The Amazon Kindle Oasis. This is Amazon's most expensive e-reader and is ludicrously priced. Really, going by the price alone, it was hard for me to justify spending the kind of money being asked for a device that offered nice to have features, but ultimately its lower rung cousins also offer the must-have features like side-lit displays nowadays anyway. In the box, you get the Kindle itself, along with an antiquated micro USB cable for charging. Really, it should have been USB Type-C by now, but perhaps that's reserved for another generation of Kindles. There's not much else in the box besides an overview card and a booklet with regulatory information. The Kindle Oasis weighs 194 grams, and that is certainly heavier than the older Kindle I have, which is a comparably svelte 167 gram. However, this is still lighter than many large smartphones, so not heavy to hold at all. Also, the weight is concentrated on one side, so it's really designed to be held from one side. The accelerometer inside flips the display according to whichever hand you're holding the device with. Because of its extra width, this is more of a square shape and probably will not slip into smaller pockets. The ridge on the side that doubles as a grip and holds the battery and internals offers a good hold on the Kindle and makes the rest of it feel really light. It also houses the power button on top and the micro USB charging port on the bottom. Oh, and it's IPX8 rated, so it's protected against immersion in up to 2 meters of fresh water for up to 60 minutes. That means it doesn't mind the occasional splash of water at the poolside. A definite plus. The Oasis features a larger 7-inch display than its other counterparts, and this immediately sets it apart. Combined with the 300 ppi resolution, this is as good as it gets on e-ink displays. It also gets an adjustable warm light that can automatically adjust brightness and temperature based on the ambient light source, and this really helps reduce blue light at night and helps to reduce interference with your body's circadian cycle. So this Kindle will actually help you go off to sleep, provided you aren't reading something that stimulates your brain. Kindles are simple devices meant for just one objective: reading books. So the interface is geared towards that. With the Oasis, you do get a few extras such as playback of audiobooks via Bluetooth speakers and access to the Kindle store for purchasing ebooks, and also a web browser that has stayed experimental since I got my last Kindle almost a decade ago. Compared to that Kindle, it's a lot better and faster to browse the web, but really I wouldn't use it for much more than maybe browsing Wikipedia or similar text-heavy websites for quickly looking at some information. On the quick settings menu, you get the option of turning on airplane mode, switching to dark mode, syncing your Kindle, and entering the deep settings menu. Also, from here you can adjust the brightness or leave it to the default auto brightness setting, and also adjust the warmth of the lighting or set it to a schedule, such as I have done, to enable it from sunset to sunrise. Now if we look a bit into the main settings menu, the device info section under device options will show you that the free space you get is under 30 GB even when new, and I currently have around 26.98 GB free, and that is with no audiobooks on this Kindle yet and just a few books downloaded. So if you're planning on getting the 8 GB version and downloading a lot of audiobooks, just be aware that you might get storage space of only around 5 GB or thereabouts. Certainly not an issue with ebooks, but audiobooks can take up a lot more space. Under reading options, you can change the page up and down buttons assignment. By default, the upper button is set for the next page and the lower is to go back a page. This is in contrast to my other Kindle and seemed counterintuitive to me initially. But when you start reading on this device, you see that if you let the bottom of the Kindle rest on your palm, then the top button falls more naturally under your thumb. So that means I left it to the default assignment of the buttons, but it's good to be able to change it if you so desire. Besides this, you get accessibility settings to enable voice view screen reader options when connected to a Bluetooth speaker, and parental controls to lock access to cloud and online features. You also get help and user guides to help you get started with the Kindle. The one good feature that's shared with other Kindles since a while now is the Goodreads integration. Here, you can not only see recommendations but keep a history of what you have read, wanting to read, and given a rating to. This was missing from my older Kindle, and I found this especially useful and motivational. The store offers just what you would expect, but at times I find it a bit limited and cumbersome, especially if you want books from another country or region. In those cases, I found that buying books on a web browser on a computer and sending them to this Kindle is much easier. A note on the 4G enabled Kindle. I see no need for this unless you travel a lot and don't necessarily have access to a cell phone hotspot or Wi-Fi. Both scenarios are increasingly unlikely, and I would say it's best to save some cash here and get the Wi-Fi version. Also, if you're not planning on keeping audiobooks on this Kindle or storing a lot of books, the 8GB version will also be more than enough. I got the 32GB since it was a good deal in the sale and future-proofs this device for a long time. Reading on this device is a joy. The text is crisp and legible in all kinds of lighting, and you have the option of turning pages by touch or by using the buttons. It seamlessly rotates the display when you switch hands, and tapping on a word allows you to bring up its meaning, highlight a sentence, make a note, or share it via email or Goodreads. Tapping on the upper right hand of the page allows you to add a bookmark, and center or left brings up the quick menu that lets you navigate the book or go home or toggle quick settings and access the store and your Goodreads account. Really, this is as good as it gets for e-readers, and its large screen and the increased number of LED lights mean that your eyes don't get fatigued whilst reading. Reading PDFs is still cumbersome though, and for that and for magazines and colorful guidebooks, I would stick to a tablet or phone. Coming from an old Kindle without a backlit or sidelit display, this is one area that I saw much less endurance than I was used to. Although advertised for lasting for weeks on a single charge, that is assuming you only do about half an hour of reading every day, I could only achieve about 10 to 12 days before it needed a recharge. The hours I read was much longer, perhaps 3 hours a day on average, but the older Kindle I have literally lasts for more than a month with this kind of usage. So this is something to be aware of. If you're going on an extended trip, make sure you pack a good micro USB cable with you in case you need to charge this up. Bear in mind that these results were with Wi-Fi on, so if you toggle on the airplane mode, it should give a lot better battery life. Ultimately, this device has achieved for me what I set out to do with it. When I bought it, it brought me back to the habit and joys of reading. I have already finished 2 books this month and I'm halfway through my 3rd. It's genuinely an object of desire that makes me want to pick it up for reading every day, and that was the goal. The hardest part nowadays is to detach yourself from the distractions, take a break from video fatigue, and learn from curated sources. I find that in a world where everyone is regurgitating stuff seen and read on the social media, reading good books really gives you that edge in whatever you do and forces you to focus on a subject rather than hop from one thing to another every few seconds or minutes. For those reasons, I can wholeheartedly recommend this Kindle Oasis, especially if you can get it in a sale. These are not devices that you change frequently, and if I'm to keep it for the next decade, then the little premium I've paid over the Paperwhite will go a long way to keep me interested in it and hence keep me reading. If you value things like physical page turn buttons, a larger display, and warm lighting to reduce blue light, go right ahead and get this Oasis. It's something you will appreciate in the longer run. Thanks for watching, and do watch the related upcoming video where I give an overview of the official leather cover for the Kindle Oasis.